Candace, and my son's name is Jameson. And today I'm going to tell you a story about us and what the family courts have done to us, effectively. My little boy is the love of my life. He is the love of my life. He means everything to me, and he's the reason that I do everything that I do. I will never forget the day that they put him in my arms and the life that we had together. When his father and I split up, we had to flee from him and get away. And then when his dad convinced me he was going to go to anger management, stay with his mom for a little while, maybe a week or so, until things got under control, he actually tricked me into letting him be with my son, and he stole him from me at a park in Saginaw, Texas, and has gotten away with it up until now, much more so even. I used to have some custody of him, and now I don't have any, and there's no reason for it. My little boy is sometimes made to believe that I don't want to be with him even, and I have lost everything in my life in order to be with him and in order to do what's right. When Jameson was born, I took care of him. I did everything for him and with him. I made his food. I took him to story time at the library with all the other babies and moms, which was very uncomfortable for me, by the way, but I did it anyways because I love my little boy and I wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And we went to the Thinkery. It's the Austin Children's Museum. We had a membership there. We would go all the time, and we would go to parks and go on walks and go swimming. I was very active with Jameson. I did everything I could for him to be a well-rounded individual and to be a loving, kind, smart little boy that he is. We did Baby Einstein, and I taught him sign language as a baby. I remember one time when we went to the zoo, there was another child crying, and I had him go up and give that little boy a hug, and the effect that it had on that little boy and his whole family, because it was clearly a dramatic situation, was just amazing. I went to his school for events, or not even events. I just went up there whenever I could after the court had separated us, and the school was fine with that. They'd let me go up there, and it was whenever they were done with class, they would have outside time or in the gym, and I would just kind of help the teacher or be there, and the kids really took a liking for me. On Mother's Day, this little boy, he was the only one, his mom didn't show up, and he was sad and uncomfortable, and he chose to sit with Jameson and I. And I think that little boy got kicked out of the school. He was known as the troublemaker, and I had to explain to Jameson that he was not a troublemaker, and most likely the reason he did some of the things that he did that got him into trouble was because he did not have it easy at home, and maybe he didn't receive all the love that he needed. So to try to be kind and understand that. And Jameson did understand that because I explained it to him. And there was more than one troublemaker that got kicked out of the school. And it breaks my heart that in effect of what parents are willing to do to their kids, first of all, and second, the neglect of the court itself is creating these, quote, bad kids, and that there could be something done about it. I watched a hearing where CPS was involved, and they actually had things to consider and go over before they made a decision. But because they didn't have things to consider, or information to go over. They didn't have any reason to delay in making a decision. They just decided automatically not to let my son be with his mother. So I don't know what that tells you, but they were directly assisting his dad in being able to use me in ways that he wanted to, and he was willing to hurt my son, and is to this day, especially now that I can't cooperate with those things. My son hasn't talked to me. His dad won't even answer the FaceTime calls at all now because he's angry. So my son just doesn't get to talk to me. Doesn't matter how it affects him. Doesn't matter that he's hurting. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. So I don't know if you want to live in a world where nothing matters, but I don't. And I don't think you want to get to this place. As a mother, I don't know if you can imagine having your child kidnapped from you and then it getting to a point where you don't know where he lives, you don't know what he's doing, you don't know what grade he's in, what type of school he's going to. I don't know if you can imagine that, but that's where the courts have let this go. My little boy loves his mommy so much, and we have a bond that I could only wish for all of you. Nobody can break that. No matter what they do to us, nobody can break that. We spent every moment together from the moment he was born until his dad stole him from me at a park. And the courts have only assisted his dad in getting away with this, and they have allowed him to get away with incredible things you would not probably believe. They had clear and convincing evidence of sexual abuse by his dad used in exchange for me to see my son because of the oppressive limitations and restrictions that they placed on the parent-child relationship. And so, being a mom that truly loves her child, I was willing to do anything for him. And it got to a point that I couldn't do that anymore. So finally, I had heard the courts mention the laws, and I started on this crusade to learn the laws and to do what was right. I thought that if I learned and used the laws, that's what they wanted me to do, that they were not treating me with respect because I was not an attorney. So I learned all of those laws. I worked with a mentoring attorney who taught me how to write motions and where to find the information I was looking for. And it got to a point that honestly I even knew more than he did. And it's continued on into court hearings and proceedings where apparently I know more than these attorneys or judges do. And I know that might sound a little off, but it's absolutely not. And these court hearings are now live on YouTube so that everyone can see them. But the judges are acting without fear or hesitation, as if with exemption from the cruel and terrible consequences of their actions. They are not held accountable. It seems there is no way to hold them accountable. Many people find out that there's a commission on judicial conduct, and that's who you would report the judges to, and that there is a committee with the Bar Association that you can write a grievance to, and that they will look into these individuals. Unfortunately, the corruption goes so deep that they will not look into these individuals. It took me losing everything and moving to downtown Dallas. I know God was with me. He I had a job that I could work the hours I wanted to, or the hours that I was able to, right around the street, or corner, down the street from the courthouse, and I could figure out what was going on. And I did. And I found out too much. I found out about the sex trafficking and the court officials' involvement in it. I found out that they are purposely placing women in these positions in order to take advantage of them, and effectively a part of the sex trafficking that's going on that everyone is becoming more and more aware of. So they even placed me in jail when I legally attacked an order in court. That's what it's called. I attacked the validity of the order in a proceeding where it came into question. And when I had addressed the effect of the court's departure from recognized and established practices of law, they had me handcuffed, and they took all my belongings and put me in jail. Due to one of the fraudulent orders, I believe there's a total of 5 fraudulent orders that the court has rendered, I was actually held in jail for 4.5 months with no one to get me out or to help me. They had rendered a protective order against me without any justifiable reasoning. There are certain qualifications that have to be met in Chapter 85 of the Texas Family Code, and those requirements were not met. The definition of family violence, or an act of family violence that would make it qualify, is in Section 71.004 of the Texas Family Code. I did not commit any acts that would allow them to give me a protective order, so they acted in excess of their jurisdiction. And then not only that, but because they had placed me under supervised visitation, and remember, they have no reasoning for this, they altered the protective order. They did a modification on April 9th of 2019. And the modification was to allow Mr. Hawkins, Jameson's dad, to drop Jameson off with me for visits overnight. So if the court didn't know what they were doing, why would they be modifying a protective order to allow for me to have unsupervised visitation with my son? So there's no question, the court absolutely knows what they're doing, and they're doing it anyway. They laugh at me, they yell at me, they criticize me, and tell me that I need to take responsibility when it's them who needs to take responsibility. The law has very clear rulings and direction on how to rule in these types of decisions. Yes, discretion is allowed, but this is an abuse of discretion and an abuse of power. They have absolutely no conscience. They have never once considered my son, not once, in any of their decisions, and the effect that this has on him. The emotional damage that they are causing to him, and I'm sure many other children, as well as their mothers. And the reason I say mothers is because Dallas did a father's rights movement. I completely believe in father's rights and mother's rights, but they took the father's rights too far. And to me, this seems like a vendetta against women, especially from Judge Lopez. I want my son in my life. My son deserves his mom. Every child needs both of their parents in their life. Any parent who's shown the ability to act in the best interest of the child should have their child in their life. And I need my baby, and he needs me even more. I don't know how he's supposed to go on when I can barely go on without him. So this is how we end up with sociopaths and psychopaths in our society. Just putting that out there because it's absolutely correct. That's the reason his dad is the way that he is. So anyways, I wrote a petition. I am requesting that a higher authority compel or write legal orders for the courts to act in accordance with the law and to put criminal charges against these judges. I want this court to be an example for the nation, for the family courts across the nation, so that America can start having the change that needs to be done. We are looking at destruction if we don't do something about this. And it's for so many reasons. For the women that are getting trafficked, for the parents that are losing everything, for the children that are developing lifelong emotional and developmental disturbances that will carry with them. This is for so many reasons. It's not just for me. Please sign the petition. My message to the people is love your children and stand up for what's right, even if it means that they can put you in jail for it. They can't put us all in jail. They can't shut us all up. The secret's out. Our government has some really corrupt people that have infiltrated the system, and they need to be eliminated. There are ways, suppression strategies that can be used, and we have the resources to do that. There's absolutely no reason that this should continue, and that the destruction of the unit that holds America together, what matters most to everyone in America, is our families. There's no reason for us to give them the power to destroy us and to not pay the consequences for that. They're being paid by us, and they're harming the ones that they're supposed to be protecting. So please stand up with me for this cause. I hate for it to affect you too, if it hasn't already. I don't wish this upon anyone. I definitely think that our children need to be raised better and be given more respect than they're being given. Thank you.